one of the things that I did share, I know several of you didn't get to hear, but as Louise had mentioned, I actually just started my own executive coaching and organization consulting business about 6 months ago. And this network like your success depends on it because it does title was probably for me more than anyone else because I really realized that for me to be successful, I had to get out there and network. So I want to share with you things that I did well, things that I did wrong, and some tips that I've heard that have really helped me be more successful in networking, be a more effective networker, and not make it an event, but make it something that is just part of what I do. So I'd like to take a survey. When you think about attending a networking event, how do you feel? Do you feel excited because you can't wait to meet new people? Think, okay, maybe this one will be different, or grudgingly going to the event? Oh, and I think a different survey is up. Can we go to the survey that says how they feel? Yeah. Thank you. So how do you feel when you're getting ready to go to a networking event? And I can tell you, as you're answering that, my feeling when I went to one of the first ones after I decided to start the business was, okay, I'm going to go, and boy, I can't wait to meet all these people who just want to, have me as their coach and work with me. And I see a lot of you are saying, okay, we're getting some responses. You spent, oh, no, poll up here. The poll that we're looking for is when you think about attending a networking event, how do you feel? And I see a lot of people saying they feel grudgingly going. Some are excited. Others are grudgingly. It's probably because either I'm going to go to an event and people are going to try to sell me things. If I know what that was like when I was working inside an organization, or I'm trying to sell people things and I'm just not being successful. I'm going to all these networking events and spending all this time, and time is money. So yeah, I'm seeing a lot of great comments in here on, depends on who's in the room, what their intentions are. Okay, so we'll move on. I think I got a pretty good sense of your responses here. Yeah, that was the wrong survey. That's okay. We'll move on. So I want to share a few quotes from women about their experience in networking, and this is from a book from Ivan Misner, the father of modern networking. And he wrote a book with a few other people about the differences between men and women and how they network. And one of the questions they asked was, what were some negative experiences that women have had? And you can read right here that sometimes they feel like they're not taken seriously, or possibly feel like they get hit on when they're going out and networking. People feel that they're there to get a date versus really get connections and make business. And so those are pretty negative impressions. And some of you may have had a bad experience, negative experience. Unfortunately, these leave impressions on us. But I'm here to tell you that you have to move past that, because there are going to be some times when you're going to have negative experiences, but it's so worth it when you really start focusing on building those relationships. So don't let those stereotypes, those experiences get in the way for you. The law of inertia I thought was really interesting as we relate it to networking, and it says that an object that's at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion. With the same speed and same direction unless acted on by an unbalanced force. So how do you relate this to networking? If you're not networking, if you're not moving and taking action and building momentum in networking, you're never going to, unless something comes in, some unbalanced force. Maybe you lose your job. Maybe you want to start changing jobs. You want to meet other people. Something's going to force you to get out. But once you start networking, that law of inertia says you'll continue networking. Get in that group. Get in that rhythm. So how do you get in that rhythm? You get out of the house. You have to first take the steps. Look for networking events in your area. Look for, where do your customers go? Where do your peers go if you're trying to build peer relationships? First, get out of the house. Before you get out of the house, though, don't make the same mistake I did when I was going to one of my first networking events. Be really clear about your mindset. Mine was, boy, I can't wait to let everybody hear my elevator speech and just listen to me and want to do business with me. And how could they not want to do business with me? That was my motivation. Well, if that's your motivation, that's the wrong motivation, because if everyone goes in there like that, who's going to be listening? You should really be focusing on making connections. So work on your mindset. Think about why you're networking. Your mindset really needs to be in the right place. You want to work on mindset versus the mindset as well as your skill set. If you're going there to just sell something and have someone hear your elevator speech and you're not interested in them, they're going to know, and it's not going to be successful for you. 91% of people that were interviewed for this book, over 180,000 professionals, said networking played a role in their success. And you are not part of this organization if you don't believe that networking can help you in your business, it can help you in relationships, it can really help you grow. So it's just important to learn how to do that. So now let's take another survey. How many of you go to networking events to sell something? It should be coming up in just a minute. Okay, so maybe you responded before. Take a minute. Looks like starting to be about split. And at the same time, answer the question of how many of you go to networking events to buy something. Okay. Taking a few more responses. Getting a lot of responses in here. Okay, I'm going to show you the results. It looks like 58% is going up, are planning on going to sell something, but only 74% said they're not going there to buy something. So if 60% are going to sell and only about 25% are going to buy, and that's pretty high actually, those who are going to buy, who are you selling to? So the mindset to go to a networking event just so you can sell something is not necessarily going to be successful for you. And the reason is people have to know, like, and trust you to be able to buy something from you or to even want to buy something from you. So it's about farming versus hunting. And I've heard this in a couple of the calls recently from networking. So we're saying the same thing because it's true. You want to focus on building relationships. You want to plant seeds. You really want to think about each event, each opportunity as a chance to build a relationship with someone, a relationship that may never pay off to business, but a relationship that may, in 6 or 12 months, help you. It's very rare that you get instant success from a networking event on building a relationship because relationships take time. We don't immediately trust people. So going in with that farming mindset is much more effective. I have another poll question for you. Which outcome do you think is most successful when you go to a networking event? You went to a networking event and one, you spent time with 4 people and have 4 business cards, or you really worked the room and you have 50 business cards to show for it. Okay, so it looks like all of you are much wiser than I was, quite honestly. I'm going to broadcast the results, and 85% of you said, hey, you know, it's much more important for me to have spent time with 4 people and really had a relationship, and that's absolutely right. I can tell you my first couple of networking events, I came and I had a stack of business cards like this, and I thought, wow, that's really great, but you know what that stack of business cards is? Flybys. They're not going to remember you. You're not going to remember them. It's too many. If you really go to build that relationship, which I have learned now is to spend more time talking, getting to know them, the more effective you'll be. It's better to even go away with one really strong connection and relationship than 20 that are cold and don't really remember you. So there's 3 key things you need to think about when going to networking, especially to build business or get business. First, you have to be visible. People have to know you, know who you are and what you do. So obviously that's why you're going to these networking events, so they can get to know you. But it's not enough to get to know you. What they said is 90% is credibility. They need to know you're good at it. And how do they know you're good at it? Well, they're not necessarily going to believe you when you tell them how great you are at it. Who they're going to believe are their friends or references. And that's where you get to real profitability. So taking the time to get to know them, to know, like, and trust you, doing work, and getting people to refer you to others, that's where you really reap success and become more profitable. So taking that time is critical. I want to give you a few tips that I learned. This is, again, from Ivan Misner, who is the founder of the BNI. I don't know if any of you are in a BNI group or have experience with it, but it's an outstanding organization if you're looking to connect with others and really be able to learn how to build relationships and referral systems. One of the tips he gave is if you're going into a networking event, so this is you on the right-hand side, and you walk in and there's all these people, you don't know anybody. Oftentimes we're going alone, right? I go alone a lot of times in networking events. Where do you start? You look for the open 2s and 3s. And so what you can see on here is there are closed groups of 3 or 4 people where you can't break in, and if you do, it's really awkward. And I've had to do that, and I've done it, and I don't think I did it right, but what he recommends is look for those open 2s and 3s, the people who are standing not in a closed circle but more of an open circle. Go up and start talking to them. And then when you're at networking events as well, make sure that you're being open. If you're in a group, maybe talking to someone you know really well and you've got a closed 2, stop, look around, and make it open. Welcome others to come in because you're all there for the same reason. You're all there to get to know other people and build relationships. Really great tip to be gracious. The other rule that I thought was helpful for me to think about was a 12 by 12 by 12 rule. And it's focus on, first of all, what you look like from 12 feet away. We know that our first impression is most impactful. So dress the part. If you're going to a business networking event, dress professionally. Look the part. Look like a business professional. That is important. If people don't know you, your clothes, your appearance, everything is the first idea about you that they have. So make it a good one, right? And then it's about 12 inches up close when you're having that conversation. Make sure that you're having a positive conversation. Don't go up to someone and say, wow, boy, this food really stinks. Or, can you believe, this is a terrible location. If you start negatively, they're going to think you're a very negative person. Talk positively. That's going to give a big impression for them. And then the first 12 words you're going to say, and that's your elevator pitch. Think about what are those first 12 words. Don't do what I did, though, which is not even ask a question and just throw out your elevator speech. I've got another great tip for you that I learned that I've used, and I feel so much more comfortable, and people keep listening when I use this approach. It's asking questions first. So Bob Burg is an outstanding networker. He's got some really great books if you're interested in learning more about networking, and he said I could share his 10 feel-good questions. I'm not going to read all these to you. You can look at these later, but the 10 feel-good questions are meant to be asked somebody that you meet. So instead of saying, hi, I'm Jill, this is what I do, say, hi, I'm Jill. Tell me a little bit about yourself. What is it you do? What are the key strategies in your business right now? What have you found effective to promote your business? People love talking about themselves. Don't ask all 10 of these. Choose 1 or 2 questions that you'll always have to get them talking. It's not only good because they're going to be talking, but then you can figure out how you may be able to help them. So in my example, I'm an executive coach plus an organization consultant. So how they answer those questions will dictate my elevator speech back to them on how I may be able to help them or work with them. This other question, though, this one's golden. This one has made a big difference as I've talked with other consultants and in networking as well. It's, how can I know if I'm speaking with someone if they're a good prospect for you? That is a great question. It really endears you to them. And be sincere. You really do want to see, how can I make connections? Because if you're a connector, that's going to pay a lot of dividends for you. They're going to see you as someone who helps them, connects them with other people, and then they're going to want to do something with you. So be sincere around it. Elevator pitch. I'm not going to go deep into an elevator pitch. I think you've had some of that in the past, but I loved this tip from Bob Berg as well, and it's the eyebrow test. When you use your elevator pitch, watch the eyebrows. If it goes down, you've lost them. They're very confused. If it goes up, then you've got their attention. So be unique. Be a little provocative, so they have to ask you a little bit more about it. And then following up. Make sure you take the time to learn something about them. Remember, it's better to have 4 business cards than 50 business cards. When you learn something about them, a trick I use is I try to jot down a few things on the business card so I don't forget, and personalize the follow-up. So, for example, maybe they're working on a big transformation project. It could be, hey, how is that project working out for you? Maybe they're trying to get a promotion. Maybe they told you about a vacation they just took with their kids, or they're going on a vacation. Ask them about that. Again, it endears you to them. It shows that I care about you as a person. I'm trying to build a relationship, not just a LinkedIn contact, right? And then the last point is benign neglect kills networking relationships. Don't neglect your network. I'll close with this. When is the best time to plant an oak tree? 25 years ago. When's the next best time? Today. So when's the next best time for you to start building your skills in networking and getting out there and networking? It's now. It's today. You can't change the past. But get out there, feel confident, feel comfortable. And I promise you, if you go with a giver's heart where you're focusing on helping others, it will pay great dividends. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I hope these tips were helpful.
A challenging moment. You know what? Technology likes to do this to us and put us on the spot. But I was glad to see that the ladies in the chat room really settled down and really enjoyed your tips. And thank you again. And thank you for your patience and going back to the beginning.
Absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jill. To go to napw.com e-coaching group page and join our hosts and other attendees there to continue the conversation on the group activity wall. Look out for our communications for all upcoming e-events. And if you're interested in submitting to be an e-coaching host, please reach out to us at the email that you can see on your screen there. Thank you, Jill, and to the, I think I counted about 130 members who stayed with us today. Thank you for this motivating e-coaching session. NAPW wishes you ladies a wonderful and productive day, and we do look forward to seeing you again.